Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Ivan and welcome to the family. Thank you for clicking on this video. I honestly just wanted to get ready with you guys today, talk about a little bit of my feelings towards the movie Crazy Rich Asians. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I actually went to see it a couple of days ago. Just gonna do my makeup and just get ready because I'm about to take some photos later. So I thought, why not just address some things I guess I felt about the movie because it was such a strong feeling for me. I'm just gonna link the stuff on the bottom and you guys can sort of check it out if you want to. So I went to see the movie about last week and actually I was sort of invited to the premiere or like the pre-screening where you get to see the movie before it comes out. I feel like I didn't want to do that because I wanted to get the full experience of the movie just like everyone else. Also, I wanted to support the movie just because it was an all-Asian cast and it was directed by all Asians. So if you guys don't know, there's a backstory about the movie. It's written by Kevin Kwan about basically Crazy Rich Asians, and I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not gonna talk too much about what happens in the movie. If you guys don't know, I am actually from Malaysia. I grew up in Malaysia and I've been here since I was about 17, so it's been a couple years now. Actually 18. Wait, 18 or 19. It's kind of like a blur sometimes. I guess going into the movie, I didn't really expect a lot. I was just in my head thinking like, I mean, it's just a movie with all Asian people, like how... I guess I didn't like really anticipate how strongly I would feel about it. Halfway through the movie, I had sort of like a lot of anxiety and I had an asthma attack, which is why like, I couldn't breathe halfway through and I had to sort of stop and calm myself down. I think it was just a lot of emotions all at once that I couldn't anticipate and I couldn't contain because it's so different from what like the trailer looks that I didn't really anticipate it. And I didn't read the book, so you know, I really didn't, going in I didn't like predict anything. But they showed a scene, and if you haven't watched it and you don't want to see it, there are some spoilers. I'm trying not to. The scene where, you know, they went back to Singapore and tried out the hawker food, and when the main guy spoke in Malay and Chinese and Hokkien, which is the languages that I grew up with, I guess it just struck me. I guess it was just kind of amazing to see it on a big screen and in such a like big movie like that, because back in Malaysia and Singapore we definitely had our own movies and stuff like that, like so it's not like I haven't seen movies that featured our language before. It was just like seeing it in like a big screen like that was kind of insane, and I guess it brought back a lot of memories that I sort of shut out when I came to America. And I don't think I shut them out intentionally. I think it was part of like coping with all this new culture around me, and I guess a little bit of it is a little bit of shame. And I felt like when I came to America, I always told myself like, I'm always gonna stay true to who I am, which is a Malaysian boy, and never let anything around me change me. But over time, I think I've either forgotten a lot of that or sort of blocked it out of my memory, which is sad, but it did happen. So when I watched the hawker food and the chili crab and stuff like that. It just brought me back to who I was back then. And I don't think I'm a different person than I was back then. But I feel like before this, I definitely lost a lot of touch of who I am as a person and as a Malaysian person. So when, you know, when the interactions between the mom and Rachel regarding like passion versus family, I guess it struck a big chord with me, because I feel like being here, I definitely feel that I want to pursue my passion a lot more. And it brought up a lot of times where when I used to tell my family that I wanted to drop out of school to pursue beauty and YouTube, it was always met with a lot of like discontent, and like they didn't believe that I could do it, sort of. And back then I used to be kind of upset about it because I felt like they didn't understand me. But now, watching the movie and watching it back, I sort of realized that there is no like good and bad in terms of what you choose to do. It's just different values and how you live it. For the longest time, I do feel like my relationship with my family wasn't the best, just because of my choices and where I was in life. My parents definitely weren't happy with me dropping out of school, and I totally understand why, and I see that they were just trying to look out for me because that's all they knew, right? So I guess like to see that part in the movie really like made it so real and so anxious for me to watch, just because I relate with that so much in terms of career choice and life choice and partner choice. I feel like going through what I went through in the past 2-3 years, a lot of you guys have followed me since I talked about, you know, not going through a good time and dropping out of school and stuff like that. And I feel like that experience really did want to make myself alienate from my culture, which was so education and career based and money based. And not to say that those are bad things, it's just not the same values that I value in life. And I understand if anybody wants to pursue that, but I felt like I wasn't really meant to pursue that, and I felt wrong doing it. I feel like I tried to block that culture out of my mind, that I don't remember a lot of things that happened. And it's really sad to say, but I used to not remember a lot of my childhood. And even a couple years ago, it's hard for me to recall what happened sometimes, because I felt like I was just on autopilot the whole time and not really being present and loving what I did, just because I was going through the motions and pleasing what my family had expected of me in terms of career and life choices. You know, it's definitely really hard, and only now am I starting to be more okay with it and accept it and reconnect more with my family and the core of who I am, because I guess I felt really I guess I felt abandoned by my own culture. But in actuality, I feel like maybe sometimes being here unknowingly, I have abandoned my own culture, and I feel like that's where like I'm always going in between of being Asian and being American, and being not enough of the two. So I feel like very torn sometimes, and I feel like one big thing about the movie is that even though it doesn't fully reflect my experience as an Asian in America, it definitely was closer to how I'm feeling compared to a lot of movies out there. And I guess the reason why I was so anxious and tense watching that movie was because it was so real, and I've never felt that with a lot of other movies. And I feel like I have, because that's all I knew in terms of watching movies, like feeling a certain way and crying. Like I watched Coco and I bawled my eyes out, but watching this was a different level of feeling because it was so personal. I think also it was kind of crazy for me to see so many Asian faces on the big screen. And you know, the crazy part is that when I was watching the movie, like the first 10 minutes of watching the movie, it felt weird to see so many Asian faces because I'm so not used to it, and it almost felt like I was watching a YouTube video, as weird as that sounds, because I'm not used to watching people that look like me on the big screen and only on YouTube or Instagram. So I think it was a crazy weird thing to me to see it, and then to see these people have fully developed characters and not just token Asian people just sparked so much inside of me and made me feel so strongly that I was really speechless. And I think it took me a while to gather my thoughts on how I actually felt about the movie, because it was so powerful. It's a really empowering feeling to see characters that look like you on screen that actually go through the same turmoil in terms of choices and love as yourself, because I definitely see a lot of parallels of myself in that, and that's something that I can say happens with this movie that doesn't happen in a lot. And it's so crazy that I haven't felt this way with other movies. So to have been, I guess, educated in a way that we don't expect to see ourselves on the big screen, it's just really sad, and I feel like it's so internalized. But now, after seeing that, I have so many feelings to want to push more for that. People were saying in this movie that it doesn't really encompass a lot of Asian or Asian Americans' experience. It's a very small part of how we feel our struggles here, and I do have to agree with that. And this story might not resonate with you or with me, or it does in some way, but it is one step closer to having more of our stories told. This is one step towards more stories, and in the future, maybe somebody else that looks different can go back and say, wow, this movie sparked like so much more diversity in terms of not just the characters but also people that wrote and produced the movie, because I feel like you can't really fully show the nuances of each and every culture if it's produced by somebody else. I think it's really a strong thing to, like, I guess, take back control of our identity and how it's shown. Because the longest time I feel like Asians were always shown as like mystical, kung fu, quiet, passive, submissive, like exotic, I hate that word, exotic magical creatures from like, you know, like some mystical land. Truthfully, maybe some of us are. Maybe some of us do know martial arts. Some of us do know like kung fu and stuff like that. But the truth of the matter is, I don't want to be defined by the way my eyes are, the color of my hair, color of my skin, or what you think I eat or what you think I do. Because we're fully developed human beings and we should be shown as such and not just token characters as like a joke or to meet a quota. You know, what Constance said in one of the interviews is right. This show definitely might not reflect every Asian American or every Asian experience, but hopefully it will be the spark to more conversations about inclusivity and more conversation about diversity. And it was just such a well-made film, other than the political and social impacts of the film. It was beautiful, the costumes were beautiful, the filming is beautiful, the acting was on point, because I've seen my aunties act like my family members act like Auntie Eleanor, and I can see myself in Rachel and a lot of the characters. Yeah, it was just very, very powerful. I always felt like there was going to be sort of a cap of, I guess, how much I could achieve in the world, career-wise and visibility-wise, because of how I looked, which is Asian. When I went through that time, that definitely was intensified because I didn't see any other way out. Pencil is pigmented. It's by JOUER Slim Cream Eyeliner. I'm gonna have to buff this out because it is too pigmented. Since this eye is so dark, I'm gonna keep the brows light and just use a brow mascara. And this is the GIMME Brow. It was very empowering for me to see people that sort of could be my family or could be my friends, to be in such an empowering and taking charge and making their own decisions, and seeing them as fully developed characters made me really happy. And it definitely sparked inside of me in terms of reconnecting to who I was. And I definitely feel like I have, I guess, as much as I tried to hold on to it, over time I feel like because I'm not around it, I have been losing touch with who I am as a Malaysian person. That's like, I think that's okay, because as Asian Americans, we have Asian American, we have so much responsibility in terms of like preserving the culture, making sure our language gets passed down, making sure our food gets passed down, our recipes. And one night I just got really sad because I feel like there's so much to do in the world in terms of reconnecting to who I am. And I feel like sometimes I feel like I don't have enough time to learn everything from my parents, learn everything from my aunties and uncles, all the recipes and all the songs and the folk and the tales. And the other day when I went to my auntie's house, and she's Singaporean and we're Malaysian, and every year we would go to each other's houses and just to reconnect and eat. We had shrimp noodle hamin, and she made a vegan version of noodles for me, and like that kind of warmth and feeling is something that I haven't felt in a long time. And I love my friends here. They're basically my family, but it's different when you go to somebody's house that have seen you grown up for so many years and look out for you. You know, these people that share a culture with you, like I know these people will always look out for me because they've seen me since I was a baby. Yeah, it was a really great experience, and it made me cry, made me laugh. I hope to see more of that in the films in the future. And I know there are some criticisms that said that movie wasn't super inclusive for other Asians, and I have to agree with that. There was not much mention of South Asians. I guess a reason why is because this is one person's perspective and one person's view, and in the future hopefully it will spark enough debate where all people can have their platform to talk about where they come from and their story. Because one thing about stereotypes is I don't think stereotypes are bad, because it helps the mind categorize how we are as people. I only think stereotypes are bad because it doesn't tell the full spectrum of who we are as people. It's just one side of us. Like, yes, I eat dumplings and yes, I eat rice. That is not just who I am. I'm also a creative. I also make videos. I love the way you do, and I think like a broader spectrum of what it means to be Asian needs to be told to the world, and no matter what culture you are. I want to say, like, you know, if you like something like this movie and show that you like blackish or youngish or fresh off the boat, and shows that like one day at a time, like that features POC, and if that's something you want to see more in the future, talk about it, tweet about it, watch it, support it, because that's the only way these companies will know that we as POC people want to be heard. They have a market for us too, and that's the same with makeup. If you like a brand that features people that look like you, support that brand. If you see a YouTuber that does the same, like similar things that you want to grow, support these people, because that's sort of our gateway. And talk about it, talk about what makes you happy and what you love, because at the panel in KCON somebody asked like, how do you love yourself, right? And to be honest, I said, as an Asian American, like, she was Asian too, I told her I'm also working on it, because it's not like a switch you can switch on. It's so many past injustices and microaggressions that make us hate who we are as people. But I think it's time to reclaim it and be proud of who you are, because we got this far. And we got this far not because of us, but we come from a long line of people that have fought for our rights and have fought to be where we are today. So we, I think, have a social responsibility to keep going and keep pushing and keep on fighting for what we feel is right. And I think we just, as people, want to be heard and want to be appreciated, instead of just being extras in somebody else's narrative. Everybody has a story to tell, and it's up to you to share that story. Yeah, definitely. Just a lot of feelings, I guess. When I finished watching it, I was just like, wow, I guess there's so much of myself that I forgot, that was reminded by a movie. And I guess I felt bad for a little bit for forgetting that much about myself and my culture, but at the same time, I don't want to beat myself up for trying to survive here. But I think there's definitely an in-between that I can definitely practice in terms of appreciating my culture and also creating my own in the future. But yeah, I didn't intend the eyeliner to look this dark, but I guess I got like carried away with, you know, application as I was talking. I hope there are many movies and shows that feature POC to come. I'm really excited, and not just feature them, but also it's directed and created by them, I guess would be the most important thing, and a crazy good thing, I guess. So thank you for listening to me rant, and let me know what thoughts you have about the movie, because I'm sure that movie meant a lot of different things to different people. And I just want to say thank you so much again for all the support, and thank you for watching. I'll leave the products down below. Don't forget to comment, let me know what you think about the movie. Even if it's like a long paragraph, I will make sure to read it, because everybody deserves to share their story. And so thank you so much, and have a great day, guys. Bye. So this is the close-up of the makeup.